stop for a moment. Breathe in slowly. Have you felt it? That subtle shift in your mood over the past few days. The restless sleep. The sudden wave of nostalgia. The unexplainable calm that arrives without reason. As of January 27th, 2026, the sky above you is not random. The universe is moving in structure, in timing, in deliberate rhythm, and whether you believe it or not, your nervous system is listening. This is not about horoscopes. This is not about daily predictions. This is about resonance. It is about the possibility that your body, your brain, your heart rhythms are responding to patterns far larger than your personal story. Ancient cultures understood this without needing laboratory instruments. They built temples aligned to solstices. They tracked Venus cycles with precision. They planted crops by lunar phases, not because of superstition, but because they observed something consistent. When the sky shifted, human behavior shifted. You may have noticed it yourself. During certain full moons, emotions rise to the surface. During eclipses, old chapters close unexpectedly. During heavy planetary tension, conversations become sharper, patience thinner. It feels personal. But what if it is structural? What if your nervous system is part of a larger symphony? Think of your body not as isolated, but as an instrument. Your brain communicates through electrical impulses. Your heart generates a measurable electromagnetic field. Your nervous system operates through bioelectric signals. You are not just flesh and bone. You are frequency and form. Now imagine the planets, not as distant rocks, but as massive bodies generating gravitational fields, magnetic fluctuations, radiation signatures. The sun's solar flares can disrupt satellites and power grids. That is measurable. The moon influences tides across entire oceans. That is measurable. If vast bodies can move water, can influence electronics, is it unreasonable to ask whether subtle changes may influence the most sensitive electrical network on Earth, the human nervous system? This is where we introduce what I call biocosmic attunement. Not mysticism, not fantasy. A bridge. The macro reflecting the micro. The idea that your internal rhythms are constantly adjusting to external patterns. You are not being controlled. You are being tuned. And here is the emotional mirror. You may feel like something is shifting, but you cannot name it. You may feel more sensitive to noise, more reactive to conflict, or strangely detached from drama that once consumed you. You might feel called to rest even as the world pushes for productivity. These are not weaknesses. These are signals. This phase right now is not about forcing clarity. It is about noticing recalibration. The universe is not asking you to move faster. It is watching how you respond to subtle pressure. Because planetary alignments do not just create events. They create energetic climates. We are in a period where structural planets are forming precise, geometric relationships. Whether you track astrology or not, these alignments create shifts in gravitational balance, electromagnetic interplay, and solar radiation angles. The Earth is not static. It is moving through a field of influence. And your nervous system, delicate and intelligent, is adapting in real time. Ancient wisdom spoke of celestial human resonance. They believed the sky was a mirror. When Mars rose bright and red, they associated it with heat, drive, conflict. When Venus shone steady and luminous, they associated it with connection and harmony. They were observing patterns, not superstition, pattern recognition over centuries. Today, we use different language. We speak of circadian rhythms, seasonal affective shifts, solar cycles affecting mood. Science acknowledges that light exposure changes neurotransmitter production. It acknowledges that magnetic storms can correlate with changes in human behavior. The bridge is forming between what was once called spiritual and what is now called neurological. But here is the grounded truth. Correlation does not mean control. The planets are not dictating your choices. They are influencing environmental tone. Just as weather influences what you wear, cosmic weather may influence how your nervous system stabilizes. Right now, if you feel like you are shedding something invisible, that is not random. If you feel like old reactions are surfacing to be examined, that is not weakness. This phase is not about action. It is about restraint. The universe is observing your response, not your speed. Your nervous system is recalibrating, and recalibration can feel like discomfort before it feels like harmony. So in this first chapter, understand this foundation. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are an extension of it. Your atoms were forged in stars. Your electrical impulses mirror universal laws of frequency and vibration. When alignments occur, they are not distant events. They are structural shifts in the environment your body inhabits. The question is not whether the planets are changing your vibration. The question is whether you are aware enough to notice, because awareness is where harmony begins. And this moment right here, January 2026, is not random timing. It is part of a larger cycle that has been building quietly. What you are feeling is not chaos. It is tuning. In the next chapter, we go deeper. We move from philosophy into mechanics, from ancient observation into modern resonance. We explore frequency, neurons, electromagnetic interplay, and you may begin to see that what you call intuition could also be sensitivity to subtle shifts in the cosmic field. Stay with me. This is where understanding becomes power. Now let us move from poetry into mechanics. Because if this is real, if planetary alignments influence your vibration in any meaningful way, there must be a bridge between the sky and your nervous system. Not fantasy, not blind belief. A bridge built on resonance. Everything in existence vibrates. This is not spiritual language. It is physics. At the smallest measurable level, atoms oscillate. Electrons move. Energy expresses itself in frequency patterns. Even what appears solid is in constant motion. You are not a static body walking through space. You are a dynamic field of electrical activity. Your brain alone generates measurable brainwave frequencies. Delta waves during deep sleep. Theta during dreaming. Alpha when calm and reflective. Beta when alert and focused. Gamma during heightened integration and insight. These waves are not metaphors. They are electrical oscillations that can be recorded in real time. Your heart produces its own electromagnetic field. In fact, the heart's electrical field is stronger than the brain's and can be detected several feet away from the body. Your nervous system is a complex electrical network, constantly sending signals through ion exchanges across cell membranes. sodium in, potassium out. Sparks of communication every second. Now consider the environment around you. The Earth itself has a measurable electromagnetic frequency, known as the Schumann resonance, averaging around 7.83 Hz. This frequency overlaps with the lower range of human alpha brainwaves. That is not mystical. That is measurable overlap. When solar flares erupt from the sun, they release bursts of charged particles that interact with Earth's magnetic field. These events can disturb radio signals, GPS systems, even power grids. Scientists track them because they affect infrastructure. If large-scale magnetic fluctuations can impact electronics, is it unreasonable to consider that a highly sensitive biological electrical system may register subtle responses? This is not about fear. It is about sensitivity. Emerging research has explored correlations between geomagnetic activity and shifts in human mood, cardiovascular stability, even patterns of collective behavior. The data is complex and still developing, but the conversation is no longer dismissed outright. The human body evolved within Earth's electromagnetic environment. It is not separate from it. Now let us expand the lens. Planetary alignments are not beams of magic light shooting into your spine. They are shifts in gravitational geometry. When planets form precise angular relationships, the distribution of mass in the solar system changes subtly. These shifts are small, yes, but in a system built on precision, small changes can ripple. Think of a tuning fork. Strike one tuning fork tuned to A, and another tuning fork tuned to A across the room will begin to vibrate in sympathy. This is resonance, not force, not coercion. Resonance occurs when frequencies are compatible. Your nervous system is a living tuning fork. When environmental frequencies shift, your system adjusts to maintain coherence. Sometimes that adjustment feels smooth. Sometimes it feels like agitation before stability. And here is the emotional mirror. If lately you feel overstimulated without clear cause, or strangely introspective, or unusually fatigued even when you rest, your system may be recalibrating. When external electromagnetic conditions fluctuate, the body may compensate. Sleep patterns shift. Dreams intensify. Emotional processing deepens. This is not an excuse to blame the planets for every mood. Personal responsibility remains sacred, but awareness of environmental influence can bring compassion to your experience. Modern neuroscience also shows that brainwave states can be influenced by external rhythmic stimuli. Binaural beats, for example, use two slightly different sound frequencies in each ear to entrain the brain into specific wave patterns. Light pulses can synchronize neural oscillations. Rhythmic breathing can regulate vagus nerve activity and shift the nervous system from fight or flight into rest and digest. If sound and light can influence neural patterns, why assume that cosmic electromagnetic fluctuations are irrelevant? The scale is larger, yes, the effect subtler, but the principle remains resonance. As of this current date, late January 2026, we are experiencing a cluster of planetary movements that create increased geometric tension in the sky. Tension does not mean danger. It means contrast. Opposition angles amplify polarity. Conjunctions merge energies. Squares create friction that demands adjustment. In physics, tension builds potential energy. In the nervous system, tension activates alertness. You may feel called to resolve unfinished conversations. You may feel more aware of internal contradictions. You may feel the urge to simplify. This phase is not about impulsive action. It is about regulation. The universe is testing your nervous system's flexibility. Can you remain steady while subtle pressure builds? Can you choose response over reaction? Avoid overstimulation right now. Excess noise, excessive scrolling, constant comparison. Your system is already processing environmental complexity. Give it space. Give it rhythm. Walk outside. Expose your eyes to natural light at sunrise. Sync your breath to slow counts of 4 in, 6 out. These are not spiritual rituals. They are neurological stabilizers. Because here is the grounded prophetic insight. The alignments occurring now are not here to destabilize you. They are here to reveal where your internal wiring needs recalibration. Old coping mechanisms may surface. Patterns you thought you outgrew may briefly reappear. This is not regression. It is integration. When frequencies change, unstable structures shake first. That shaking is information. You are not losing balance. You are adjusting to a new harmonic. In the next chapter, we will decode specific alignment patterns, not to predict events, but to understand energetic signatures. We will explore how different planetary geometries may correspond to different nervous system responses, and you may begin to recognize patterns in your own life that once felt random. Stay present. Your awareness is sharpening, and this conversation is not accidental. Now we move from theory into pattern recognition, because once you understand resonance, the next question becomes clear. Do different planetary alignments create different energetic signatures? And if so, how might your nervous system interpret them? First, let us ground this again. We are not talking about fate. We are not talking about planets forcing events into your life. We are talking about geometry, angles, rhythms, cycles. Solar system moves with mathematical precision. When two planets align in conjunction, they occupy the same degree in the sky from Earth's perspective. When they oppose each other, they sit 180 degrees apart. When they square, they form a 90-degree tension angle. These are geometric relationships, structure, timing. As of late, January 2026, several significant alignments are tightening. Venus and Jupiter are moving toward a harmonious relationship, amplifying themes of expansion and connection and values. At the same time, a more intense Sun-Pluto dynamic is forming tension, illuminating power structures both collectively and personally. These configurations are not good or bad. They are tonal shifts in the cosmic field. Think of it as music. A Venus-Jupiter conjunction is like a swelling orchestra in a major key. It tends to amplify warmth, generosity, possibility. You may feel more optimistic, more open to connection. You may find yourself reflecting on abundance, gratitude, or long-term vision. Your nervous system may soften slightly, leaning toward trust. But place that against a Sun-Pluto opposition, and the tone changes. Pluto governs depth, transformation, buried truths. When in tension with the Sun, which represents conscious identity and vitality, it can feel like a spotlight exposing what has been hidden. This may correspond with heightened intensity, old fears resurfacing, power struggles emerging internally or externally. Your nervous system may register this as hyper-alertness, a sense that something deeper is being rearranged. Again, not fate, tone. Now visualize your nervous system as a series of antennae, not mystical antennae, biological receivers. Your sensory organs constantly gather information. Your brain filters signals. Your body responds to subtle cues in the environment long before your conscious mind labels them. When planetary geometries shift, they subtly alter the broader electromagnetic and gravitational context of Earth. These changes are minute, yes, but your system evolved in this environment. It is not unreasonable to consider that it responds to cumulative patterns over time. You may notice that during harmonious alignments, social interactions flow more easily. During tense alignments, misunderstandings increase. During eclipse seasons, endings and beginnings accelerate. Skeptics may call this coincidence, but when patterns repeat over decades and centuries, awareness becomes wisdom. Here is the emotional mirror. Have you felt recently like two forces are pulling you at once? One urging expansion, hope, risk. The other demanding introspection, shadow work, honesty. That push-pull sensation is not confusion. It may reflect the geometry above mirrored in your internal landscape. This is a period where what feels good must also be authentic. Superficial positivity will not hold. If something in your life is built on unstable foundations, subtle pressure may expose cracks. Not to punish you, to liberate you. This phase is not about dramatic confrontation. It is about quiet honesty. The universe is not asking you to prove strength. It is observing how you handle power. Do you react defensively when triggered, or do you pause? Do you cling to comfort when growth calls, or do you sit with discomfort long enough to learn from it? Notice your energy patterns this week. Are you sleeping differently? Are conversations deeper or more charged? Are you drawn to purge old files, clean spaces, release commitments? These impulses are data. Your system recalibrates through behavior. Now let us be responsible. Scientific consensus does not claim that a Venus-Jupiter conjunction directly alters neurotransmitter levels. The measurable mechanisms are still under study, but we do know that humans are sensitive to environmental cycles. We know that collective mood can shift during times of astronomical significance. We know that expectation and awareness themselves influence perception. So part of this influence may be physiological, part psychological, part symbolic, and all of it interwoven. Symbolism matters because your brain responds to meaning. When you know a powerful alignment is occurring, your subconscious may prepare for reflection or expansion. That preparation alters behavior. Behavior alters outcomes. In that sense, planetary awareness becomes a co-creative tool. Here is the grounded prophetic guidance for this moment. Avoid extremes. When expansion energy rises, do not overpromise. When intensity surfaces, do not self-sabotage. This is a calibration window. The alignments are revealing contrast, so you can choose balance. If tension arises in relationships, do not assume collapse. Assume exposure. What is being shown now was already there. If opportunity appears suddenly, do not rush blindly. Ask whether it aligns with your deeper restructuring. This is not a sprint season. It is a refinement season. You are being invited to become aware of your own energetic weather patterns. Track them. Journal how you feel during major alignments. Notice whether you become more introspective during certain transits. Notice whether creativity peaks under others. Over time, you will build personal data that matters more than any generalized forecast. Because this journey is not about dependency on cosmic interpretation. It is about sovereignty within cosmic awareness. The sky is not controlling you. It is reflecting possibilities. And as these late January 2026 alignments tighten, the invitation is simple. Observe before acting. Regulate before reacting. Choose depth over drama. In the next chapter, we move from observation to practice. If your nervous system is indeed responsive to environmental frequency, how can you intentionally harmonize with beneficial rhythms? How can you stabilize yourself when cosmic tension builds? We step into tools: breath, sound, attention, integration. Stay with me. The harmony you seek is not outside you. It is waiting for alignment within. Now we become practical, because awareness without application changes nothing. If planetary alignments create shifts in environmental tone, and if your nervous system is sensitive to frequency and rhythm, then the question becomes simple. How do you stay steady when the cosmic weather changes? First, understand this clearly. You are not here to fight the sky. You are here to harmonize with it. As of this moment in late January 2026, the energetic climate carries both expansion and intensity. That combination can feel like inspiration mixed with pressure. Hope layered over unresolved truth. If you try to push forward aggressively, you may feel resistance. If you withdraw completely, you may feel stagnation. The key is regulation. Let us begin with breath. Not because it sounds spiritual, but because it is neurological. Your breath is the remote control of your nervous system. Slow, extended exhales stimulate the vagus nerve, activating the parasympathetic state, a state of calm integration. When external tension rises, your body may unconsciously shorten the breath, signaling alertness or stress. Reverse the pattern consciously. Try this rhythm. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold gently for 2. Exhale for 6. Repeat for 3 minutes. This pattern tells your body there is no immediate threat. It stabilizes heart rate variability. It anchors brainwave activity. During periods of planetary tension, this is not symbolic. It is structural support. Second, light exposure. Your circadian rhythm is directly tied to solar movement. When alignments cluster, you may find your sleep shifting subtly. Anchor yourself to the sun. Step outside within an hour of sunrise if possible. Even 5 minutes of natural light exposure helps. Regulate melatonin and cortisol cycles. This grounds your internal clock to Earth's rotation rather than digital stimulation. Third, sound. Frequency entrains frequency. Binaural beats in the alpha range can gently guide the brain toward calm coherence. Soft rhythmic drumming can synchronize neural oscillations. Even humming stimulates the vagus nerve and increases nitric oxide production in the nasal cavity, supporting relaxation. These are measurable effects. You are not using sound to escape reality. You are using rhythm to recalibrate your internal field. Fourth, mindful observation. This is where self-awareness becomes powerful. Keep a simple alignment journal. Note the date. Note the planetary configuration if you follow it. Then record your mood, sleep patterns, emotional triggers, creative flow. Over months, patterns will reveal themselves, not because you are controlled, but because you are responsive. When you recognize your patterns, you stop being surprised by them. Here is the emotional mirror. You may feel like something old is surfacing right now. A memory, a doubt, a habit you thought you released. Do not panic. During intense alignments, the nervous system may reopen unresolved loops to complete them. This is integration, not regression. This phase is not about dramatic breakthroughs. It is about quiet alignment. Avoid overstimulation. Reduce unnecessary conflict. Limit exposure to chaotic media cycles. Your system is already processing subtle environmental shifts. Protect your bandwidth. There is also power in physical grounding. Walk barefoot on natural earth if available. Not as superstition, but because direct contact with the ground can help equalize electrical charge in the body. Gentle movement like yoga or stretching helps discharge accumulated stress hormones. And now, prophetic guidance for this moment. What is being tested is not your ambition. It is your regulation. The universe is not measuring how much you accomplish in this window. It is observing how balanced you remain under subtle pressure. This phase is not about action. It is about restraint. If you feel provoked, pause. If you feel sudden urgency, breathe before committing. If you feel called to purge something from your life, ask whether it is impulse or insight. Alignments amplify emotion. Amplification requires discernment. There is also beauty in this window. Venus-Jupiter energy supports gratitude practices. Each evening, name 3 things expanding positively in your life, even small ones. Gratitude shifts neural pathways toward abundance perception. That perception influences behavior. Behavior influences outcome. Sun-Pluto tension, on the other hand, invites shadow honesty. Ask yourself quietly, where am I holding control too tightly? Where am I resisting necessary transformation? This is not about shame. It is about refinement. You do not need to understand every planetary angle to benefit from cosmic awareness. You only need to notice your own rhythms. Remember this. Harmony is not the absence of tension. In music, tension resolves into beauty. Without contrast, there is no progression. The alignments occurring now are not here to destabilize your life. They are here to tune it. And tuning sometimes requires tightening strings before melody stabilizes. If you treat this period as an enemy, you will feel friction. If you treat it as a teacher, you will feel guidance. Your nervous system is adaptive. It is intelligent. It is capable of extraordinary recalibration when supported intentionally. In the next chapter, we expand beyond personal tools into a larger paradigm shift. What does it mean to live proactively with cosmic awareness? How might understanding planetary cycles change the future of holistic well-being? And what invitation is quietly opening for you right now? Stay steady. The harmony is forming, and what feels subtle today will make profound sense soon. Now we widen the lens. You have felt the shifts. You understand resonance. You've seen how geometry in the sky may correspond with tone in the nervous system. You've learned how to regulate rather than react. So the final question becomes deeper than curiosity. What if this awareness is not just interesting but evolutionary? As of January 27, 2026, humanity stands in a threshold era. Technology moves faster than our nervous systems evolved to handle. Notifications compete with circadian rhythms. Artificial light overrides solar timing. Information floods the brain without pause. And in the middle of this acceleration, planetary cycles continue quietly, structurally, precisely. The universe has not sped up. We have, and perhaps that is why so many of you feel overstimulated, yet spiritually restless at the same time. You sense there is a larger rhythm beneath the noise. You feel pulled to simplify, to ground, to reconnect with something ancient and intelligent. That instinct is not regression. It is recalibration. A new paradigm of well-being does not reject science. It integrates it. It does not abandon spirituality. It refines it. It understands that the nervous system is both biological and symbolic. That meaning influences chemistry. That awareness influences behavior. That cycles influence psychology. Imagine a future where emotional health includes cosmic literacy, where we track not only deadlines and meetings, but energetic seasons, where schools teach circadian rhythm alignment alongside productivity skills, where therapy acknowledges environmental cycles without surrendering personal responsibility. This is not fantasy. It is integration. The more you understand timing, the less you panic during intensity. The more you understand cycles, the less you cling during endings. When you know that contraction precedes expansion, you do not misinterpret temporary pressure as permanent failure. Right now, in this late January 2026 window, the invitation is maturity. What is being tested is your ability to stay centered while contrast increases. The alignments forming are not chaotic. They are clarifying. They are revealing where you are energetically overextended and where you are underdeveloped. You may notice this in relationships, power dynamics surfacing, old insecurities resurfacing for resolution. You may notice it in ambition, sudden inspiration paired with doubt. You may feel like you are standing between two identities, who you were and who you are becoming. Do not rush this threshold. This phase is not about aggressive expansion. It is about structural integrity. The universe is watching how you handle subtle authority shifts in your own life. Do you speak with grounded confidence? Or with reactive defense? Do you chase validation? Or cultivate internal coherence? Avoid the temptation to dramatize. Intensity does not equal crisis. Sometimes it simply means depth. Here is the quiet prophetic insight. What is aligning now will not fully reveal itself for months. Seeds planted in this window, conversations handled maturely, impulses resisted wisely, boundaries clarified calmly will ripple outward through the rest of 2026. This moment will make sense later. There is also collective significance. As planetary cycles tighten, societies recalibrate. Conversations about power, structure, resources, and values intensify globally. You may feel this in headlines, in financial discussions, in cultural debates. But remember, collective tension amplifies personal nervous systems. This is why regulation matters more than reaction. You are not responsible for fixing the world's turbulence. You are responsible for stabilizing your internal field. Coherence is contagious. Calm nervous systems influence other nervous systems. When you remain grounded, you subtly shift your environment. The future of energetic health will not be mystical escape. It will be informed alignment, understanding when to push forward and when to pause, understanding when friction is growth and when it is misalignment, understanding that cosmic awareness does not remove accountability, it refines it. And now your invitation. Track the sky for the next 3 months. Not obsessively, gently. Notice when you feel expansive. Notice when introspection deepens. Notice when tension peaks. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" begin asking, "What is this teaching me about timing?" Shift from reactive living to rhythmic living. Because when you live rhythmically, anxiety softens. Urgency decreases. Patience strengthens. The universe runs on structure. Orbits are precise. Seasons return predictably. Even chaos follows mathematical law. You are not separate from that order. You are an expression of it. If something feels like it is breaking apart in your life right now, look closer. It may be reorganizing. If something feels delayed, it may be incubating. If something feels amplified, it may be asking for conscious calibration. This is not a year to move blindly. It is a year to move deliberately. And here is your closing guidance. Before you make major decisions in the coming weeks, regulate first. Breathe, ground, step into natural light. Then choose. Let alignment precede action, because speed without harmony leads to burnout. But timing with awareness leads to mastery. If this message resonated with you, if you have felt subtle shifts you could not name, then you are already tuning in. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are recalibrating in real time. On this channel, Celestial Insight, we do not chase drama. We study rhythm. We do not surrender power to the sky. We learn from its structure. Subscribe if you are ready to move through 2026 consciously. Share this with someone who feels the shift but cannot explain it. And in the coming days, observe your reactions carefully, because the universe is not rushing you. It is refining you, and this moment will make sense later.